Ho, 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 'tis the season. We are now beginning the end of 2024. What a great time to think about thought leadership that is focused on predictions for 2025, predictions regarding the areas of law you practice or the industries that you serve. But as you sit down to start creating your piece of thought leadership focused on your 2025 predictions, avoid making these 4 mistakes. Mistake number 1, not being audience focused. It's easy when you are thinking about and writing about or talking about your 2025 predictions to focus on what you find interesting in the areas of law you practice or the industries you serve, or what you think is relevant to your clients and your referral sources. But what you should focus on are predictions concerning what your client thinks is interesting. What is your client thinking about in 2025? When you create predictions around what they're focused on and thinking about, your thought leadership is going to resonate better than if you are talking about predictions that they couldn't care less about. So how do you figure out what they're thinking about for 2025? Well, you could ask them. Or you could look at the media outlets, the newsletters, the influencers that they follow and that their industry follows and that cover their industry to get a sense of what the industry is thinking would be of interest in 2025. Mistake number 2, not being specific enough with your predictions. It's easy to talk about broad, sweeping predictions, like the way Republican administrations might impact enforcement of laws or creation of new laws, or how interest rates might dictate the spending of large companies and small companies alike in particular industries, or how geopolitical unrest might impact supply chains and transportation and oil prices, etc., etc. These are so broad and so sweeping, they're not going to be relevant to your audience. They're not going to resonate with your audience. Instead, be specific with your predictions so that they position you as someone who is authoritative regarding the areas of law you practice or the industries you serve. Specific predictions show that you have deep knowledge and expertise in the areas of law you practice and the industries that you serve. This is how you establish yourself as a go-to lawyer. You are specific regarding deal flow concerning healthcare companies if you're an M&A attorney serving healthcare companies. Or maybe you have a prediction concerning internal investigations and insider trading prosecutions if you are an attorney who assists clients with internal investigations and insider trading prosecutions. Be specific. Focus on the areas of law you practice, the industries you serve, and don't just talk about high-level predictions. Third mistake, you're making too many predictions. It could be fun to just roll off 10, 15, 20 predictions. But when you produce that number of predictions, you're going to dilute the impact of your predictions and you're going to overwhelm your readers. But perhaps more importantly, you're going to lose the opportunity to speak in depth about the predictions because otherwise you're going to be writing 5,000 words. By keeping your number of predictions to 4, 5, 3, you allow your audience to digest what you're saying, but you also allow yourself time and space to put some meat on the bone and give your audience something to think about. The more detail you go into regarding each prediction, the more you can show off your knowledge and your wisdom and your insights regarding the areas of law you practice and the industries that you serve. It's fun to think of a listicle where you just name off 20 different predictions, but that's not going to do anything. Without getting into detail regarding those predictions, you're not providing value. And if you're not providing value, the thought leadership isn't going to resonate with your target audiences. Number 4, not being bold. The majority of thought leadership prediction pieces are boring. They don't push the envelope, and for that reason, they're just not memorable. Avoid that fate. Connect dots that other lawyers and other industry experts are not willing to connect. Go out on a limb. Be creative. You need to be reasonable, but be creative with your predictions. Despite what you think or what your colleagues might suggest, there is no one out there keeping score of your predictions. No one's going to come back to you next July, next August, next December and say, hey, you know what? You were totally off with your predictions. What were you smoking when you published that predictions piece at the end of last year. No one's going to say that. So be creative, stand out, be memorable, and your thought leadership will resonate better among your target audiences than a piece of thought leadership predictions for the new year that's totally bland and vanilla. Now is the time to start thinking about your predictions for the new year. It's a super easy way, and quite frankly, a fun way for you to create thought leadership that is going to resonate with your target audiences, provided that you avoid these 4 mistakes I just discussed. If you're interested in creating the kind of thought leadership that positions you as a go-to attorney in the eyes of your target audiences this coming year, the year after, and every year after, check out lawfirmeditorialservice.com. We have over 400 blog posts, videos, and podcast episodes that can help you do just that.